Hey there, Happy New Year to all of our friends around the marine industry. My name is Matt Gruhn. I'm the president of the Marine Retailers Association. I just want to welcome you to our very first Marine Industry MRAA Insights video. There's a lot of uncertainty out in the marketplace. We've been talking about that. We've entered this pre-pandemic marketplace. Uncertainty has come with it, and we need some kind of ideas and answers on where things are headed. And so MRAA for the last 8 or 9 years has been producing what we call a pulse report, and it's exactly the way it sounds. It's taking a pulse of the marketplace. It's taking a pulse of what's happening out in the dealer businesses and so forth. And we have that data to share with you on a month-by-month basis. And so every first week of every month, we release this data. And we've historically just put it on our website, which I'll show you here in a moment, where you can find it. But I wanted to share it with you from a video standpoint so that you can understand what's happening out there, and so that you can actually go in and download this report if you find it worthwhile. So appreciate you spending a couple minutes with us here. This first one, I'll explain a little bit more about what our pulse reports are all about and what they do and how they work and that sort of thing. And then as we go forward, we'll share more of the insights into what the data is telling us and what we think you need to be thinking about as you're going into the month ahead, the quarter ahead, and the year ahead, of course. So share my screen here with you real briefly and show you, this is MRAA.com. And on this website, you can actually just go right in here to under resources, go to our resource center. This resource center is loaded with tools and resources and things that you can access, publications and so forth that you can access, you can download, and you can use to help you steer the direction of your business. You can see here that there's a blog, there's a career center, F&I, there's publications that we call guides, there's financial support, sales, operations, marketing, service. I mean, there's everything in here. So I encourage you to go in here and tap into this. But for the sake of today's conversation, we're going to go right here into data. And we're going to go into this monthly data that you can access. I'm just going to log in here real quick. And then you can see that there is data here going back a long ways. And you can actually, we can get more of these, but they go all the way back to our first pulse report, which we published in December of 2013. So you can see there's a lot of data, a lot of insights, and so forth. So I've already downloaded this report. You can also find some financial analysis from our partners at Baird. You can get that right here by this one, but you can click and download the report right there. When we do that, we pull over to this pulse report, and the pulse report looks like this. Just a shout out to our partners. Baird fields this survey for us. They have helped us create it over the years. We've partnered with them all the way back to 2013, and we also partner with Trade Only on this as well to get the emails out to help gather the data and so forth, and then to report on what we're hearing. So you can see some of this in Trade Only as well, but I just thought it would be worthwhile to walk you through the report itself so you know what you're looking at and what to expect here. So the big thing here initially is kind of just an overview of who took the survey, what their demographic looks like, their revenue profile, their geography, where they're based, and that sort of thing. That might give you some good context into what you're reading about and what you're learning. We actually launched this survey for the purposes that you see here, this retailer sentiment index, so like a dealer sentiment index. You can think of this as a consumer confidence or consumer sentiment type of graph, but it's taking the pulse of dealers. So you can see what dealers feel their sentiment looks like, what their outlook is for the current conditions, and for a 3 to 5 year outlook. And so you can use that to kind of gauge. You can see what's happened here over the last few years. You can see where COVID hit and the sentiment fell, and then COVID spurred a lot of those boat sales, and sentiment rose pretty rapidly just as quickly as it fell. And then you can see there's kind of been this slow downward trend of dealer sentiment in the marketplace for reasons that I think you can probably all understand. So this is one great element of this pulse report that you can access. The next thing here is kind of retail trends. So dealers are telling us what the trends are during the month, based on leads, based on door swings, based on sales, based on all of those elements. And you can see here again, similarly to that peak of COVID on the sentiment, there's been a little bit of a downward trend with a couple spikes in between of those retail trends over the last few months, last year or so. Same thing, that's the new boat retail trends, used boat retail trends, look kind of the same way. Those graphs typically follow each other fairly closely. But then just over here for context, you can look and see and understand the seasonality of the boat business. So if the sales are down in December, it doesn't have as much of an impact, of course, than if sales are down in May, because we just, as an industry, of course, we sell way more boats in May, June, July, et cetera, as you know. So we can look at the dealers kind of provide their opinions on what's impacting that retail demand. You can see here that they rate things like, is it the weather that's impacting? Is it the economy? Is it the new products in the marketplace, trade activity, access to credit, government action and inaction, and so forth? And so they rate all of those, and you can see kind of a comparison all the way back to 2018. It's the last 5 years of how that's looked over the years. And then it gets into more detail. So you can dig into this and you can analyze this to your heart's content. But you just know that is all in there. And those retail demand factors, they really dig into that and show you what the pulse is on what's happening out there. And then there's a section in here on inventory. And so you can see here inventory levels based on how dealers are feeling there. We asked them to rate their comfort level with inventory. And when you look at this chart, you can see again, leading up to March of 2020, the inventory levels were tracking along a little bit higher than normal, a little bit higher than they had been over the years. They plummeted, of course, when boat sales took off and boat dealers ended up taking orders and that sort of thing over parts of 2020 and 21 and into 22. So you can see that from a new boat inventory level. You can see that from a used boat inventory level. And of course, to the far right end of the graph, what you're seeing the inventory levels beginning to normalize and getting back to where they were prior to the pandemic starting. So really good insights here into what's happening with dealer inventory levels across the industry. As we've seen here, the new boat inventory levels have been on a steady climb. Used boats were as well, but they seem to maybe have leveled off the last couple months. We know that the used boat market has been strengthening even further here recently. So a great way to understand and gauge where the industry is at from an inventory level might help you make some decisions on your own inventory levels as you go forward as well. And so then we ask dealers to provide their opinions and their insights into what's working in the marketplace and what's not working in the marketplace. And oftentimes this provides you some context as to why the ratings, the scores, the sentiment, that sort of thing, why dealers believe things are going the way that they're going. So you can tap into some of these questions. What's working here? You can see that, this person used boats are cheaper than new boats are desired. Repeat customers is working. Let the customers know that we're willing to get aggressive on pricing and that sort of thing. So there's individual comments and insights from individual dealers there. Again, note that these are individual dealers that are providing these insights. It doesn't mean all the dealers are feeling a specific way that these quotes are coming across, but it gives you good context, gives you good understanding of what to know about what's happening out in the marketplace. And then the what's not working, same sort of thing. So what's holding them back? What are some of the obstacles that dealers are faced with, and so forth? And so you can see, what's not working is we shouldn't be waiting for buyers to show up. We need to get more aggressive. What's not working we can look at any of these things. Being arrogant about pricing might have worked a year ago, but the market's changing and sales practices that we used 2 to 3 years ago are now more relevant than ever. So you can gain insights like that, and maybe that helps you guide your team. Maybe that helps you make some decisions inside your dealership and so forth. But great insights here from a what's working and what's not working standpoint. And then the part that you may want to really cue into here is the specific questions that we ask at the end of this pulse report. So everything that you've seen to this point in this report are questions that we ask every issue of this, every edition. And so you'll be able to gain kind of a pulse of how things have transpired over the years and see how that's tracked. But then at the end, we always ask one or two custom questions about what's going on in the marketplace today. And so being that we launched this one the last week of December, we asked dealers what their outlook is on 2023. What is your expectation for new boat retail unit sales at your dealership in 2023? And you can see here what dealers are expecting. A lot of dealers expecting the new boat retail sales to be down anywhere from 10% all the way through to greater than 20%. A few people recognizing that they'll be up, but hey, listen, when we have the pandemic time frame to compare things to, I think we all understand that things are going to be changing a little bit as we move forward. So this gives you an idea and some context on what dealers are thinking about the outlook for 2023. We also asked them about price objections and what strategies that they are using that are effective when working to overcome customers' price objections. And this question, again, might give you some insights into how to educate your team members on what they can be doing differently. For example, most of the dealers that answered this said that explaining the value of doing business with your dealership is one of the key components of overcoming those price objections. So if you can train your team on how to do a better job of that, that's an opportunity for you. Offering creative financing options, providing a range of product at different price points, both new and used. So you can gain some insights here into some of the strategies, maybe best practices that you could implement in your dealership as well. And then we asked them to comment on that and provide us some context. So there's all kinds of great context in here that you can tap into. Additional comments that they wanted to explain afterwards. We always give them an opportunity to comment on something that maybe we didn't ask about. And you can see that in here as well. And then the rest of this document actually provides great insight into what's going on in the broader economy. You can see unemployment rate and consumer confidence information. There's a wealth effect that has a kind of household wealth numbers and then year over year change. There's U.S. powerboat retail dollar sales dating all the way back to 2000, and units sales dating all the way back as well. This goes all the way back to, looks like 1990 on this one. So you can tap into this. You can use this to build business plans. You can use this to take to your lenders and do, get a loan or do more business through them that way. Insights into what's going on in each individual category, so on and so forth. So there's a wealth of information in here. Again, we partner with Baird, who does some watches the stock market fairly closely. So there's some analysis and so forth of some of the stock pricing and so forth. So tap into this and use this. We use this at MRAA to help drive some of the decision making that we do here. For example, we talked a little bit about the overcoming price objections. And so there's opportunities for you on MRAA.com to find ways that you can help your team overcome price objections. So another thing here, right on MRAA.com, you can go to resources. You can pull down here to Spotlight. Spotlight is our kind of monthly approach to addressing the topics that are impacting our dealerships the most at this very moment. So when you go into our Spotlight page here, you can see monthly program for timely and relevant education. You can see the one that we're publishing right now and we're working on right now is overcoming price objections. But as you scroll through here, you can look at, we tackled some compliance issues. We tackled focusing on your customer, your existing customer base from a marketing standpoint and sales standpoint, retaining dealership employees, getting back on track with disciplined operations, so on and so forth. And you can see we have very timely topics and things that you can tap into. And there's a lot of stuff in here that you can access to learn more about how to tackle these topics. So we're not just telling you these are the most important, we're also giving you some insights into how to access that. So you can go in here, you can look at there's podcasts that I produced. There's some data on employee retention. There's a blog in here, a couple different blogs. There's some courses and a webinar and so on and so forth. There's a compensation study. You can go into all of this and find all of this information and use it to help you. So when you look at the current one, overcoming price objections, right? Find your salesperson superpower. There's some information here on this. This is a blog. There's some data as well that we talked about. Some insights on competing on price, and not competing on price, I should say, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of great information in here that you can use. A lot of that is spurred by this pulse report that we produce, but you can really keep a pulse on the marketplace with this, and you can access it right from MRAA.com every month. So again, we field the survey the last week of every month, and we typically have it published, all the data published and the report published by the end of the first week of every month. So watch for it. You'll see us promoting it. You'll see our friends at Trade Only promoting that as well, and getting that out there for the industry to see and respond to. One request that I might have for you, when you see our emails come through that are asking you to take the pulse report, please take the survey. It gives us a better idea and better understanding of what's happening out in the marketplace. It also allows us to make sure that our content is on target for what you're needing out there and what can help you be successful. But the more people that respond to it, the better the data is. And when you do respond to the survey results, we actually send you a direct link to access this. You don't have to go onto our website and find it and download it. So take a look at that pulse report. Hopefully you find it helpful. If there's anything, insights that we can offer you, questions that you might want us to ask in the pulse report, certainly reach out to us, anybody on our team at any time. We'd be thrilled to talk to you about that and make sure that this pulse report continues to be very much on target with what you need and what would help your business. So thank you very much. Appreciate you spending a few minutes with me here. If you have any questions on this pulse report or anything else that MRAA offers you, please reach out anytime. Thank you.